Welcome to my week 1 recap video of my half marathon training and preseason training as a D2 soccer player. So I'm going to be going through just my training, nutrition, and goals that I have for this summer, and also just for each week, and especially just this past week. And then just recap some of my training and just what I do for nutrition and how I track that. Okay, so first let's talk about training. What workouts did I do this past week? So I came back from college just this last week and a half ago, and before that I hadn't been doing any running whatsoever really, just because of finals and packing stuff out, and also just trying to give myself a break from just the spring season and just let my body recover since my calf was bothering me a little bit. So my Friday run was more of like a let's see how this feels kind of run. So it was like an 8:06 average pace, 2 miles, which actually didn't feel too bad. I was also coming from elevation, so that probably definitely helped a little bit. And I also try to track my workouts here in a notebook, and I do them for each day and just write down exactly the goals of that workout, my reflection from that day, how I felt, and then it just tracks stuff. It also helps keep me organized, and also when I write it before a workout, I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly what I'm going to look for. I usually do this band warm-up that activates my glutes and hips. Hip abductions, usually 20 each side. I'll do squat to banded hip abductions, banded knee drives. I'll do the side walks, I'll do monster walks, deep lunge reach, sometimes just to like help stretch that inner thigh, and then I'll also do like hip rotation. Okay, and then Saturday, May 9th, I did the Man U, which is the Man United run, which is you go down 100 yards in about 25 seconds and you come back in 35 seconds. And you do that 10 times, and then after the 10th one, you go down 24 seconds, rest 36 seconds. The seconds count down each level after level 10. I ended up getting, I think it was level 14 on this one, which wasn't bad for running it the first time this summer. I think I definitely like to see myself to get up to 17, 18 towards the end of the summer. I ended up doing just a little bit of some dribbling just to warm up my touch. Nothing too crazy. I didn't want to completely burn myself out on this one. So it was mainly just to warm up my touch and get back moving on the ball. Saturday was also my leg day. So usually my leg days are either squat or deadlift, and I have exercises that work around that main lift. This day specifically was my leg day. Again, banded warm-ups, so like abductions, side walks, monster walks, Swiss ball hamstring curl, which is great to warm up your hamstrings, 90-90 stretch, and then I did my barbell back squat, which I usually do 12 reps. Right now I'm trying to do more like hypertrophy styled at the beginning of this training block, and then I'll end up building up to more weight and less reps. So I did 12 reps of 3 sets, 1 minute rest in between, so I also got like a good cardio in. And then at the end of that set, I'll throw 225 on the bar, and I'll try to go for 3 reps or more than I did last time. So I think I ended up doing 3 reps for 225 for squat, which I was pretty happy with since last time I did 2. So I'm hoping next time I do it, I can get to 4, and so on, which can be tough on the legs for sure. 3 sets of 10 reps on that. And then I end up going to weighted leg extensions, weighted leg curls, calf raises, and then finish it out with an ab workout. All right, and then Sunday I rested because I needed a break from all of that, especially from not doing a whole lot for those 2 weeks prior. Monday was my first training run for half marathon training that I'm in. So this was the first scheduled run for that prep. So I did 3 miles, at like a 9:18 pace, which I felt really good about. And then later that day I also did deadlift RDL, and I finished it with a few pull exercises, tricep pull downs. I did lat pull downs, and then also finished it off with an ab workout. Also, I track my workouts on my Garmin 220 or 255 Forerunner, which I've been really enjoying recently. I just got it like 2 weeks ago, and I also use the Garmin Connect app to track all my workouts and schedule them. It just helps keep me organized, and I've been really enjoying it recently, so that's kind of what you're seeing right now. It's just all the scheduled workouts that I had done most of that day. And then Tuesday, I did the Man U run again, bless my soul, and then I did 1 mile cool down, and this was just to keep my mile, because I also replaced one of my regular runs for the half marathon with the Man U, and it's not 3 miles, so I finished off with a mile cool down so that way I could still get that mileage in for the week. So that definitely hurt a bit more, especially after the squats and deadlifts, and within those 4 days of not lifting for quite a bit. My body was really hurting, so I only got to level 10 on the Man U. Still isn't bad, but not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to get like another 14, 15 on it, but my body just couldn't do it. So then I ended off with just another soccer session, something super light, 600 juggles and my dribbling. So I'll do alternating 100 juggles, and then I'll do 100 juggles on my right foot, 100 juggles on my left foot, 100 juggles above the knee, 100 juggles below the knee, and then I'll do some quick stuff through the cones. Okay, and then Wednesday I had my 3 mile run in the morning that I ended up running with my sister at downtown Omaha, which was really fun. It was a pretty good pace. It was like a 9:44. Later that day after work, I went to the field like in the middle of the day, so it was nice and hot and toasty. For my shooting sessions, I usually like to warm up my touch just a little bit before, so I do just my normal 600 juggles, and then I'll do some cone drills. Trying to warm up my hip flexors with a few shots 6 yards outside the goal. I end up doing just a few each foot, just try to warm up just that ankle stiffness, my legs, before I tried a 18-yard shot. So then after I'm done with that, I ended up doing this 4-cone weave that I found online, which I wanted to try out. Just simple freestyle, weave through the cone, touch out, and just shoot. The first one I absolutely whiffed it over the goal, which I was not super happy with, but we ended up getting it back, and a few of the next ones were a lot better. And then after I watched some of those through, I'm like, you know what, this could be a little bit quicker. I felt like it looked a little bit slow. So my last shot was probably my best one, and I was pretty happy with that one. All right, and then Thursday I did my upper body workout, which is usually my bench press. Again, I'll also structure my workouts around bench press as well, so it'll be more of like a push day. I always try to end it with some abs or some kind of ab workout. Bench press is not like a huge lift that I'm worried about right now. My max used to be like 150, 155, I believe. That has recently come down just because I'm trying to focus on my running, focus more on lower body stuff. But I still like to do it for fun. All right, and then this morning I ran my long run, which was 5 miles, and it was like an average pace of like 9:44, I believe. And that one definitely hurt. I think after this whole week of just all the stuff that I've been doing, it's definitely, my body was feeling it. But it was still a good run. We completed it, we finished it, and that's what matters. Next week, it'll be 6 miles for the long run. I'm hoping that will go well. Okay, next let's talk about my nutrition. So my nutrition for the week, before my runs, I always love to have like this electrolyte drink, or at least like a little sip of it before I go out and run. So that way, but then I also come back and then I also have that electrolyte drink waiting for me in the fridge, and it's cold and it's ready to go. After all my workouts and all my runs, I always have my Build shake, which helps restore and repair with carbs and protein. I get that from Shackley, and then I also mix it in with my Creatine Monohydrate. Sometimes I'll put in some collagen, and sometimes I'll add a little bit of extra protein powder. I feel like I need it for that day, or if I have upwards of 2 to 3 workouts that day. And I'll always try my best to track my macros. I don't try to track it strictly. I try to kind of hit in that ballpark range, usually with my carbs and my protein. I watch my fat, but as long as I know I'm getting fats from like the healthy foods, like the avocados, the olive oils, I usually don't try to be super strict with it. But yeah, I'm usually consuming at least 1,400 calories a day, which might seem low to some people, but I actually don't need to eat a whole lot to, I guess, maintain what I have. But if I'm working out a lot, then I'll obviously eat more carbs, take in more protein to kind of balance that out. So some of my favorite stuff that I've made is I like to make my date salad. So it has like chickpeas, dates, feta, arugula, tomatoes, cucumbers. I'll end up throwing sunflower seeds, avocado, with like some Italian dressing. So this week I made it for my family because they needed to try it, and it's so good. It has a lot of carbs. I don't know if it's a lot of protein, but you do get quite a bit of protein from the chickpeas depending on how much you put in, and the feta cheese. It's definitely a great carb meal, and it's super healthy for you. I also like to do my yogurt bowls. I usually use like non-fat Greek yogurt, and I'll throw in like granola, some fruit, honey, cinnamon. Sometimes I'll add peanut butter for extra protein. I always try to add a protein shake with it, or with my meals if it's a smaller meal, just so that way it's more filling and I get a quick extra 20 grams of protein in. So now talking about goals, what are my goals for this prep? Maybe I should have started off with that at the beginning, but I would love to complete a half marathon at a 9:30 pace or less. So my half marathon is on July 25th. I'd also love to increase my speed and agility for soccer, just especially my quickness on the ball, my quick decision making. I'll also love to maintain my physique in lifts. Even though I'm doing a ton of running and a ton of conditioning, more so than I did last summer, I would still love to maintain some of my heavy lifts and try to keep that stable as much as possible, even though they probably will go down a tiny bit. Another goal that I have for myself, and something that I hope to get out of this summer prep, is just keeping myself accountable. I feel like I'm already doing that just by when I record some of my stuff. I know that I want to put my best effort out there. I want to be able to prove to myself that I can do these things, and I can do each of these weeks and complete all the stuff that I've scheduled. I think that'll also help improve my confidence, and especially going into the season and going into the half marathon. I'm going to try to post recap videos at least every week, just giving an update of my workouts, how I'm feeling, nutrition, new goals, all those things. So stay updated, and thank you. Bye.